Welcome to the video. Today we're diving into Uzumaki, a terrifying and surreal horror manga created by Junji Ito. It's not your typical monster story. It's about spirals. Yes, spirals. And how a small town slowly goes insane because of them. If you've never read Uzumaki or just want to understand it better, this is for you. The story takes place in Kuruzu-cho, a quiet coastal town in Japan. Strange things begin to happen. People become obsessed with spirals. The story follows a high school girl named Kiri Gashima and her boyfriend Shuichi Saito, who are caught in the center of the madness. The narrator Kiri Gashima is just a normal high school girl. One day as she walks home from school, she notices something strange. Her boyfriend, Shuichi Saito, is acting distant and disturbed. He refuses to come into town, and when she asks why, he mutters something odd. This town is infected by spirals. Kiri brushes it off as stress or anxiety. But soon she begins to understand that something truly wrong is happening, especially when she visits Shuichi's house. There, his father has started collecting spiral-shaped objects, not just casually, obsessively. Everywhere Kiri looks, there are snail shells, spinning tops, spiral-patterned pottery, even coils of wire, all arranged meticulously. He stares into them for hours. He won't speak to anyone. He films spiral movements. He even spins his food before eating it. It's not just a hobby anymore. It's madness taking shape. Shuichi is terrified. He begs his mother to take his father to a hospital, but she insists he's fine. The obsession continues until it crosses a horrifying line. One day, Shuichi's father is found dead inside a barrel, his body grotesquely twisted into a spiral. His bones bent, his spine coiled like a spring. It's not just suicide. It's as if the spiral consumed him, but it doesn't end there. At the funeral, his ashes behave strangely in the air. The smoke from the cremation doesn't rise in a straight line. It spirals upward, twisting in a slow, unnatural dance, as if returning to something. Then Shuichi's mother begins to break down too, but in a different way. She becomes terrified of spirals, terrified of seeing them, touching them, even having them inside her own body. She shaves her head to get rid of the spiral shape in her hair. She tries to remove her own fingerprints, scratching at her skin. And when she learns there are spirals inside her ears, she tries to destroy them too. The spiral that obsessed the father is now driving the mother to madness through fear. It's no longer just about physical shape. It's a psychological curse. As Kiri watches all of this unfold, the horror sets in. Something unnatural has taken hold of the town. Not a ghost, not a monster, but a shape, a spiral. One day while Kiri and Shuichi are visiting, Shuichi's mother suddenly screams. She's seen something, a spiral, and tries to claw into her own ear to remove it. She's restrained, sedated, but her fear keeps growing. So the doctors come up with a chilling solution. They bandage her ears permanently so she can't see or touch them again. They hope that by hiding the spirals, they can hide the madness. But that night, something happens. A strange shape appears in the air outside her hospital room. A thin, swirling vortex of smoke and wind. It spins softly in the sky, floating near her window. Inside the room, the madness peaks. Shuichi's mother sees the spiral in the air and panics. She believes it has come for her. And in a desperate moment, she grabs a sharp object and drives it straight into her ear. By the time the nurses arrive, it's too late. She's dead, and her body rests still, untouched. But her mind was devoured by the spiral long before. The next day, the townspeople witness something eerie. At her cremation, just like Shuichi's father, the ashes don't rise like normal smoke. They form a thick black spiral in the sky, slowly twisting upward above the crematorium chimney, circling like a dark omen. The spiral doesn't just infect the people of Kuruzu-cho. It lingers in the air, in their deaths, in the very shape of the town. And this is just the beginning. Soon after the tragedies in Shuichi's family, Kiri hopes things might return to normal. But the spiral curse is just beginning to spread. At school, Kiri notices a classmate, Azami Kuratani, a beautiful girl with a small, spiral-shaped scar on her forehead. She's new in town, and boys seem drawn to her almost hypnotically. Everywhere she goes, people turn their heads. They're obsessed, just like Shuichi's father was, but with her. But Azami's beauty hides something darker. The spiral scar on her head begins to grow, slowly but steadily. What starts as a subtle swirl becomes more prominent, deeper, wider, more defined, like it's pulling her in. Then something terrifying happens. The scar becomes a vortex, an actual spiral hole sucking inward. Her skin stretches toward it. Her eye is pulled closer to the center, and she can't look away because the spiral won't let her. She becomes consumed by vanity and fear. She isolates herself, afraid of what she's turning into. The obsession she inspired in others turns inward. She starts staring at her reflection constantly, as if trying to resist being pulled in. But it's too late. The spiral overtakes her body, warps her face, and ultimately erases her completely, as if she had been swallowed by the spiral itself. And just like that, another life in Kuruzucho is lost. Not by violence, but by shape. It's not a curse people can fight. The spiral doesn't chase you. It draws you in. Slowly, quietly, inevitably. At Kuruzucho High School, a student named Katayama returns after a long absence. Immediately, everyone notices something is off. He's incredibly slow-moving, always late to class. He sweats excessively, even in cool weather. His speech is sluggish, and he seems emotionally dulled. Kiri and the students assume he's sick or simply odd. But his slowness is unnatural, and it begins to draw attention. Day by day, Katayama's body changes. He begins to look swollen and bloated. A large bulge starts forming on his back, under his uniform. He moves even slower, to the point where he barely shifts between periods. Eventually, it becomes obvious. He's growing a giant spiral shell on his back. His limbs grow soft and saggy. His eyes bulge. He can barely stand. He is transforming into a human-sized snail. The teachers shockingly don't react. They just give Katayama an empty classroom to stay in during the day. The students become both scared and curious. Some still bully or tease him, but Katayama never reacts. His new snail form just sits there, drooling slowly. Another student, Sumura, who previously bullied Katayama, begins showing the same symptoms. He starts sweating. He becomes sluggish. Eventually, he also grows a shell. The grotesque peak of the chapter comes when Katayama and Sumura, now fully snail hybrids, are seen mating in their abandoned classroom. Their sticky slime coats the room. Students scream in horror and finally evacuate the classroom. The two snails are then moved to the forested hills behind the school, where they continue to live, slowly creeping and mating in a wet, spiral-infected habitat. It's clear that whatever happened to Katayama is contagious or atmospheric. Even Kiri wonders if it's the town's curse affecting students based on humidity, pressure, or maybe just spiral fate. While the town becomes stranger by the day, Kiri finds herself drawn to a pair of star-crossed lovers, Tsumura and Kobayashi. Their families hate each other, old feuds, deep grudges, unspoken history, the kind of hatred that festers across generations, much like the spiral itself. But Tsumura and Kobayashi are in love. They meet in secret, whisper to each other through fences, pass notes in class. Their affection is pure, a tiny spark of warmth in a town slowly turning cold and warped. But the town won't let love remain untouched. As their families become more aggressive, the couple's meetings turn desperate. Kiri watches them run away together, out of breath, terrified, hand in hand, vanishing into the thick forest that borders Kuruzucho. Then the wind picks up, a spiral wind. Whirlwinds begin to form more frequently near the town now, small tornadoes spinning unpredictably, as if summoned by emotion. But this time, the whirlwind that emerges is massive. It rises from the forest where the lovers ran. People watch from a distance as two figures float into the air, spinning, twisting, screaming, caught in the storm. The wind isn't just lifting them, it's folding them together. When the spiral calms, the lovers are gone. Days later, their bodies are found, fused into a grotesque spiral shape. Limbs intertwined, faces stuck mid-embrace, twisted into a single circular sculpture of tragic love. Even love, the purest of human connections, isn't safe in Kuruzucho. The spiral binds, twists, and devours. until nothing remains but a perfect, endless curve. Kiri tries to hold on to some sense of normal life, but even the mirror starts to lie. One morning, she notices her hair is growing unusually fast. Long, heavy strands curl and twist, even when untouched. At first, it feels harmless, a weird side effect of the spiral's influence, but then it starts to move, on its own. When Kiri looks in the mirror, she sees her hair slowly curling, forming beautiful, elegant spirals in midair. It looks alive, dancing around her, like it's showing off, and she's not the only one. Another girl at school, Yuki, notices what's happening, and suddenly the two are in silent competition. Their hair begins to grow longer and longer, curlier, sharper, louder. Their classmates start to whisper. They stare. Their hair becomes a battle of pride, vanity, and something darker. The girls become exhausted, unable to cut or stop their hair. It drains their energy. At night, Kiri's hair wraps around furniture. It wraps around her. She tries to cut it, but the scissors snap. The spiral doesn't want to be tamed. One day in the middle of class, their hair goes wild. Yuki's spirals lash out, floating like tentacles, wrapping around students. Kiri's hair fights back, tangling and twisting like serpents in a Medusa-like war. It becomes a showdown of sentient spirals, two heads of hair fighting for dominance. Eventually, Yuki collapses from exhaustion. Her hair, still alive, slithers around her body. And then it tightens. By the time help arrives, Yuki is gone. Suffocated by her own vanity, her body coiled in perfect curls. Kiri, horrified, cuts her hair completely. This time it stays gone, for now. In Kurozucho, even your reflection, even something as innocent as hair, can betray you. Because the spiral isn't just an image, it's alive. After everything she's witnessed, the deaths, the scars, the transformations, Kiri is trying to return to normal life. But Kurozucho won't let her. A classmate named Katayama, a shy and awkward boy, has developed an obvious crush on her. He follows her around, appears suddenly at corners, and even offers to walk her home, much to her discomfort. One morning on her way to school, he does it again. He startles her, stepping out of nowhere. This time she tells him not to do it anymore, that it creeps her out. That same day, tragedy strikes. A terrible accident occurs. A car loses control and crashes. And Katayama is struck and killed right before Kiri's eyes. His body is crushed, twisted. The shock is overwhelming. But the horror doesn't end there. After the funeral, strange things start happening. Kiri begins to hear strange sounds, springs creaking, bouncing noises echoing in the quiet of the town. At night, she feels watched, followed, haunted, and then one day, she sees him again. Katayama, or what's left of him. His corpse appears, grotesquely animated, his legs twisted into coiled springs like a jack-in-the-box toy. His body jolts up from behind corners. He leaps from windows. His head lolls. His broken jaw tries to smile. He doesn't speak, but it's clear what he wants. He never stopped following her. The spiral has taken him too, not through obsession or transformation, but through reanimation. His love or his fixation wouldn't let go. Now, even death can't stop the spiral's pull. In one final, terrifying encounter, Katayama launches at her from above like a spring-loaded puppet. Kiri narrowly escapes, but it leaves a message etched deep in her mind. Death isn't the end in Kurozucho. Even the grave can't unwind the spiral.